Beaver Island, and here we got two coppice stumps, and you can see the cambium is completely intact. All the way around, we got the perfect height for buds to be able to break and get us some good sprouts.
What's a cambium then?
Cambium is this dark line. So you got the outer bark, then you got this dark line, which is the cambium, which is where all the life and nutrients and moisture goes. The growing part of the tree.
How high above the ground was it supposed to be?
It's supposed to be 2 to 3 inch.
And how big
is probably 2 inch.
How big was the diameter of the tree supposed to be?
This tree would have been probably a 10-inch tree.
Thank you for visiting us at Beaver Island.
At Beaver Island. There you go.
There. Now
we're getting fancy now.
That's an awesome little camera too.
We got some GoPro action happening.
That is awesome.
Thanks. Hey Chris, here we are at Beaver Island.
Hello all. So when I'm checking on my GPS here, I don't know if everyone can see this here, but there's these different points on my GPS, and my accuracy is about 3.9 meters. So I'm using my measure tool in my GPS to check the different dots here on the GPS, and what these dots represent are the saved trees that the contractor was not supposed to cut. So I'm measuring the trees for my accuracy, and I'm also checking the orientation of the dots to make sure they are keeping the amount of trees that they're supposed to keep and not cutting them.
So then the trees that you're checking would be like those trees over there with the pink ribbon around it, or the green ribbon?
The double pink ribbon is the ones that they are keeping. So those are the ones I'm checking.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
This is Kara Mitvalsky, and we're at Beaver Island. Hey Ben, here we are at Beaver Island, and I'm kind of confused because it looks like a couple oaks were taken down.
Yes, we have a pin oak that was selected that has a lot of good healthy attributes to it. It was showing good crown structure, good growth. The oak that was directly next to it was in decline. Only half the crown had leafed out, and we had indications that it was likely to be defective in the center, which, seeing the stump, it is heart rot. There's a significant about 8 to 10 inch position of rot. So we cut down the tree that was in decline, allowing the tree that has a lot of vigor to not be overcompeted and put on extra decades of growth. And to top it off, we now have a little sun pocket that the acorns can drop into and hopefully get some natural regeneration.
Thanks, Ben.
There you go. Oh, I'm thinking.
You're teaching again. Okay, Ben, you're telling me about crop trees.
Yes. This tree here is a shellbark hickory. As you can see, the top of the tree has a very good crown. It has been putting on really good growth, and it was surrounded by hackberry and maple, which casts a lot of shade. And being this tree has not gone into suppression yet, we cut down the larger trees around it to release it, to allow it all this growing space to continue putting on good upward growth and live a long life.
Thanks, Ben.
Not a problem.
Hey, Ben.
Hi.
I'm gonna go swing around to Chris, and he's gonna tell me, hey Chris, tell me about that tree.
Shellbark hickory. We got a big terminal bud on it. They were to cut the competition surrounding the tree, and looking at the crown of the tree, they did a really good job. You can see the cut stumps around it to control the competition. So this one is a good winner, as we call it in our book, to keep going into the canopy, and it will take several years for it to get to be a co-dominant tree.
Thanks, Chris. So like this with the white here is this.
Yeah, that's actually a green ash, but it's the same concept. That nice deeper part is to have the coloration of that. That tree has international. You can tell by the flecking. So on the ash, it has a off consistency. That's because it's so brittle. It's like big chunks of bark fly off.
Perfect wood deck nest and cavity right up there in that dead, decaying ash.
Wow, so wood ducks live in the trees? That's amazing. Thanks, Nate. Hey Ben, how come there's snow on the ground here, but not in the area where there was a lot of thinning?
In this area, the trees are still very overstocked and dense, even though there's no leaf on. It creates more of a thermal protection for the area. So there's not as much sunlight coming in, and it's not able to warm up as much as with direct sunlight in the treatment area. So snow will hang on longer in areas that have not been thinned.
Thanks, Ben.
Yep. See a pin out. This would have went in this fall.
Hey, Ben and Chris, what are all those little things sticking up out of the ground?
Those would be last year's silver maple seedlings. So there's a 1-year-old silver maple seedlings, and that is natural regeneration.
Done. Okay, go.
So these codominant trees, silver maples around here, are your seed trees that contributed to the natural regeneration. Their samaras fell off the tree, came into the ground, and now you have your natural regeneration. Right now there's buds up at the top of the tree, red buds up there. In the
Indicating really
fall
good vigor and
period,
health.
they will fall down and they will get deposited on the ground in the soil, and they will come up in the spring.
Which is very common. We see this all the time. However, typically there's not enough sunlight for the seedlings to continue to grow. So they usually make it for about 2 or 3 years, and then they die off, and then we get a new establishment of young seedlings.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Chris. So,
It's amazing when you look that way, you can see just how dense it is. And then when you're looking in this one, you can see how much it's really massive, creating available space. So on Beaver Island this summer, we had a large wind force of the ratio that came through during August, and that caused a lot of breakout from upper limbs on trees, and entire trees were falling down, like this cottonwood here that was completely thrown off. With the density of the trees out here, the wind can't actually go through the forest, it's going over it. So this side of the island, it's like hitting a wall. And with trees and the soft ground, the trees that had the biggest canopy sticking above the tree line were the most likely to tip over, which would be the cottonwood because they're taller. It's like a big sail getting hit by the wind. So we lost a lot of large cottonwoods during the derecho event in 2020.
Hey Chris, what's that big pile of logs over here and here?
So these pile of logs are the trees that they've cut, and these trees will eventually go over to one of their buffalo makeshift burner units. They're using heavy machinery, a bobcat skid steer with a grapple on it, to take the slash in a pile to the buffalo burner. And off in the distance there, you'll see a buffalo burner. We will get a closer view eventually of that unit to show everyone what it looks like.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Right here, what we have is a modified pile burning technique. It mimics the use of an air curtain concept where you have fencing and sheet metal that's blocked up with logs to support a makeshift wall, and then you have a large buffalo blower pushing force concentrated air into the coal of the pile. So when they load in new logs to start burning, it increases the rate of consumption, which allows a cleaner burn. That's why the smoke is not filled with a lot of ash, and you see more of a thermal than you do smoke, because it's burning at a higher heat and it's concentrating the burn to do a more effective consumption of the wood.